You're watching the Mid Atlantic Lectureship. Changes ahead, embracing change.
We're certainly blessed. I have enjoyed myself in a very selfish kind of way to hear all this great preaching, to sit in these great workshops, to enjoy this great fellowship. I know Debbie and I, we're just so humbled and excited to be here, to have our daughters here with us, to have Amber here. Janae decided, I didn't bring the proper attire, so I'm going to stay up in my room. But it's always good to be in the presence of God's people. And Debbie and I don't always get an opportunity to take our daughters with us. And so this is an extra treat. And I certainly want to thank Brother and Sister Lorick, Brother and Sister Booker, Brother and Sister Bradley. And what can I say about them Wilkies? We all can't be perfect and be Cowboy fans. But don't hate, appreciate. But I just have enjoyed myself immensely. I don't want to hold you long. I do want to hold you strong because I'm not going to compete with your appetite. I know the mind can only hold what the stomach can digest. But embracing change, accepting change. Change is going to happen if you embrace it or not. And we're not talking about doctrinal oddities. We're talking about when God providentially works in the church and he begins to move in such a way that he progressively brings about change. A few decades ago, you never would have had a choir to be in a setting like this and sing before the Church of Christ. But as a result of God progressively moving, now when we see something like this take place, it becomes normalcy. There was a time when we allowed the choirs to perform in events like this where we would not allow any bass miking. There was no way in the world you could be on the mic doing all that boop, 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 boop. It was looked down upon. But over time, y'all ain't talking to me. Over time, now it is accepted in many circles. But there was a time you would have been ostracized. There was a time you would have been disfellowshipped. There was a time that when that would not have been allowed. But as God began to progressively and providentially work in the minds and in the hearts of certain individuals, the church progressively began to accept the change because it was the providence of God. Change does not happen overnight. Change happens progressively. When we look at the writing of the book of Genesis, it took place 4,004 years before Jesus stepped on the scene. And then after the book of Malachi, for 400 years, God is silent. And then 150 years after the Roman government brings the Jewish nation into captivity, God breaks his silence. and Jesus comes on the scene. In other words, change shows up. And when change comes, he comes through a woman named Mary. But change was here even before Mary was here. Because the book says in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God. And the Word was God. Change was there before there was a when or where or here or there. And when change stepped out of eternity and into time, we find change over at a wedding feast in Cana. And we find that they ran out of wine, and the mother of change said, now go to my boy and let him know what the problem is, and whatever he tell you to do, do it. And then change said, mama, why you bothering with me? It's not my time yet. But change didn't argue with his mama. And so change said, bring over here 6 water pots that can hold 20 or 30 gallons. And I don't know what change said. I don't know what change spoke, but change turned water into wine. Because change can change things. And then when they drank the wine, the governor at the wedding said, wait a minute. Usually, you will serve the best wine at the beginning, and when everybody has drunk their fill, then you bring out the worst wine. But I dropped by to tell you that if change can change water into wine, then I know change can change you. Because change can make a pimp become a preacher. Change can take a hooker and make her holy. Change can take a drug dealer and make him a deacon. Change can take a crackhead and put him in the choir, because change will change. And then one day change was met by a rabbi by the name of Nicodemus, who came to change one night and said, change, we know you be from God, because no man can perform the miracles which thou perform except God be with him. And then changed the subject and said, Nicodemus, you must be born again. Nicodemus didn't understand what change was talking about, because change done flipped the script and let you know you can no longer be saved by the law anymore. Now you got to go through a change. When I bring my kingdom into fruition, you got to go down in the water, come in contact with the blood, and then you be filled with the Spirit. But Nicodemus didn't understand that, and he said, now you a rabbi, you an educated man, and you don't understand these things. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, but that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. And then change preached the greatest sermon that was ever preached in John 3 and verse 16. It is filled with superlatives. Change said, for God, the greatest being, so loved the greatest act, the world, the greatest object, that he gave his only begotten Son, the greatest gift, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. The greatest privilege and promise ever made to a man. And then change over there in John chapter 4 came in contact with a woman at the well. Now change was sure enough going against the culture, because change was over there talking to a half-breed woman, that is a Samaritan. First of all, Jewish men had nothing to do with Samaritan women, and Jews had nothing to do with individuals who were from Samaria. But change was changing the culture. Change was letting you know that this is a different day and a different time, and we're not going to operate like we operated in the past. But change was bringing about a change. And when he started talking to that woman about drawing water from the well, she said, I don't have anything to draw with. But he let that woman know, if you knew who it was that was talking to you, you wouldn't even be worried about that water. You would ask him to give you water that would would bring about everlasting life. And then she started talking about her marital situation. And then change said, wait a minute, you've been with 5 husbands, and the one you were with last night ain't your husband. But I'm so glad that change didn't get on her about marriage, divorce, and remarriage, because change was bringing about a change. And then change flipped the script and said, let me tell you what worship is really all about, because you don't even understand worship. Change said, I'm changing this thing because God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. When we get over there to chapter 5, change comes in contact with a man over at the pool of Bethesda, waiting for the angel to come down and stir up the water. And change comes to him and said, do you want to get well? He said, wait a minute, I want to get well, but this person jumps in the water before me, and that person get in the pool before me. Change brought about a change. He said, take up your bed and walk. Now change changed the situation, because now the thing that brought him in, he taking it out. Y'all just miss your shout. And then the enemy of change said, who healed you? And the man said, they said, you ain't got no business carrying that bed around on the Sabbath day. Who healed you? Change didn't care nothing about their traditions. Change didn't care nothing about the rules and the regulations. Change don't care what day of the week it is. If you need to be healed, then change will heal you. And then they start trying to kill change. When we get to John 6, we find change out there preaching the gospel. And when change was preaching the gospel and the people followed him, they got hungry. And we got about 5,000 men, not counting the women and the children. If you count the women and the children, we got about 20,000 plus. But change found a little boy who brought his lunch. 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish. That ain't nothing but an opportunity for change to perform a miracle. And then when change blessed it and had his disciples to deliver it to the people, when it came back, they had more left over than what they started with. And in my sanctified imagination, they had 12 baskets left over. Now these were the leftovers that were left over after the leftovers were left over. And just like he took that little bit and made it go a long way, he can take your little bit and make it go a long way. Didn't he take your little money, paid for your mortgage, paid for your car, put clothes on your back, roof over your head, food on your table? I know my God is able. And then in chapter 7, about verse 24, change said, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. John chapter 8, change comes in contact with a woman who was caught in adultery. And they brought her to change. And change was asked the question, according to the law, what should we do to this woman? Because the law said kill her. But I still want to know, how come they brought the woman? Well, they didn't bring the man. I mean, does it take 2 to tango? Y'all ain't going to talk to me. But you know what change did? Change just knelt down, started writing in the sand. I don't know what change started writing. I wish I knew, because if I knew what change wrote, then maybe these gangbangers would put down their guns. Maybe we can stop fighting in the Middle East and we can bring our boys and our girls back home. I wish I knew what change was writing in the sand. Change got up and said, ye that are without sin, first cast a stone. See, change realized we all live in glass houses. You better be careful what you say about me. And I got to be careful what I say about you. Because there's some good in the worst of us. There's some bad in the best of us. None of us can talk about any of us, because there's some good and bad in all of us. Preach, Jerry. And then changed, stooped back down and started writing. And then they began to leave from the oldest to the youngest. It didn't take them old fellas to realize that they had some skeletons in their closet. And when Change got up, he said, where are thine accusers? And then he said, woman, go sin no more. But that's not even the shout. Change was the only person that could have stoned her to death. But Change gave her mercy instead of justice. Get to John chapter 9, segue. John 8 verse 12. He said, I am the light of the world. John 9, Change finds a boy who had been born blind from birth. And there was a theology or doctrine that was being taught that said the reason you have physical maladies is because of sin. So the disciples asked the question, who did sin? This man or his parents? Watch what Change said. Neither. But this has happened so that the Son of Man might be glorified. Sometimes what you go through ain't about what you go through. Sometimes what you go through is about God showing up to get some glory for himself. Change didn't have time to take him down to the ophthalmologist, so Change just spat on the ground, mixed it together, put it over the man's eyes, told him to go wash in the pool of Siloam. And when the man came back, he could see. And it just so happened that Change did it again, healing somebody on the Sabbath day, because change ain't gonna wait for you to change. Change gonna change even if you don't change. And so they start questioning his mama and daddy. They said, wait a minute, you gonna kick us out of the synagogue. You go talk to him. He's a grown man. He's of age. And then they start saying that man that healed you was a sinner. And then the blind man said, wait a minute, I don't want to get in the middle of you all's argument. I don't know anything about soteriology. I don't know anything about eschatology. But I do know something about ophthalmology. I was blind, but now I see. He said, we know God heareth not sinners. But if any man be a worshiper for him, he heareth. And then John 10, Change said, I am the good shepherd. John chapter 11, he's 4 days late for his best friend's funeral. But it does not matter when he shows up. He might not come when you want him, but he's always on time. And he goes to the cemetery and he said, show me where you laid him. Take away the stone. And then Change said, Lazarus, come forth. And Lazarus came out of the grave. And then Jesus said, loose him. I got to move on, y'all. And then in John 12, and about my wife told me don't be long. John 12, she got a lot of nerves. You had to stop her today. John 12 and verse number 48. He said, he that rejected me and received not my word hath one that judges him. The same words that I've spoken, the same shall judge you in the last day. John 13, his boys are arguing over who's going to be the greatest in the kingdom. And they are arguing so much that they forget that when they get to the upper room to wash the master's feet, so the master himself takes out a towel, girds himself, stoops down, and teach his disciples what true service is all about. And what I like about that is the master Change washed their feet. He washed Peter's feet, knowing that Peter was going to deny him. He washed Thomas' feet, knowing that Thomas was going to doubt him. He washed Judas' feet, knowing that Judas was going to betray him. He washed 8 other disciples' feet, knowing they were going to desert him. He washed John's feet, knowing that he was a disciple whom Jesus loved. If you got 12 friends, one will deny you. One will doubt you. One will betray you. And when you're going through your most difficult moment, 8 will desert you. But if you got one, better stay with you. No matter what you're going through, while you're hanging on your cross, you need to give God some glory. And then in John 14, he preached his own funeral. He said, let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you so. He said, I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Then once again, Thomas started doubting. How can we know the way, Lord? The Lord said, wait a minute, let me straighten you out once again. Thomas, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man can come unto the Father except by me. John 15, he said, I am the vine, ye are the branches. Verse 5, he says, without me you can do nothing. John 16 and verse 13, he said, howbeit when he, the Spirit of truth, has come, he's going to guide you in all truth. Then we get to John 17 in the Garden of Gethsemane. He prayed that we all might be one. John 18, they arrest him. John 19, they try him and crucify him. But early one Sunday morning, before the dew could dance on the daffodils of the earth, early one Sunday morning, men have been dying since Cain killed Abel. They killed him on a Friday, stayed dead on Saturday. But I said early one Sunday morning, because truth crushed to the ground shall rise again. No lie can live forever. They tried to kill change. And anytime you try to bring about change, somebody gonna try to kill you. I got folks lying on me now. Preach, Jerry. But then he got up from the grave, more mighty than Samson when he ran off of the gates of Gaza, more mighty than Moses on booming and shaking Mount Sinai when he saw God, when God manipulated into writing the 10 Commandments. He was more mighty than Elijah on Mount Carmel. He got up never to die again. Had a 40-day workshop with his disciples, stepped on a cloud, went on back to glory, sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. But in John 20, before he did all of that, he met with his boys. Thomas missed the meeting, and when Thomas showed up, he said, touch the prints in my hand, the spear that was thrust in my side. And Thomas said, my Lord and my God. And Jesus said, Thomas, because you've seen change. I wish you had a church. You believe. But blessed are those who believe in change, but yet they have not seen it. And in John 21, he's on the bank, cooking fish, saying, come, dine with me. You need to embrace change. Embrace. And I thank God I'm done for the praise up in here. See, praise changes the atmosphere. See, praise is a weapon. Praise. See, the enemy is the only one who has a problem with praise. Now y'all do know that Satan was the first praise leader. I ain't got time to deal with Isaiah 14, where he wanted to exalt his throne above the throne of God. I know that's an imagery referring to the king of Babylon, but it is also the backdrop of that is Satan trying to usurp authority over, like that's possible, over God. Satan was the first praise leader. He was a seraphim. And before there was a where or where, or here or there, before Adam and Eve even walked upon this mundane circumvention called planet Earth, during that pre-existing period, that pre-creation period, when you had the primordial deep, when the Spirit of God hovered over the deep, there was a war, Revelation 12, that took place in heaven. Satan had the audacity to rise up with those angels that rebelled against heaven, and Michael took the archangels with them and fought against them, and Satan was cast out of heaven. Luke chapter 10, Jesus was there. He said, I beheld Satan as lightning falling from the heavens. What you saying, Jesus? I was there when my daddy and me and the Holy Ghost kicked the devil out of heaven. See, that's why the church was praising God, having favor with all the people, because praise helps the church grow, because it is a weapon. What's your point? See, the devil don't like praise. I don't mean in the harm. If you got a problem with praise, you need to check out who you are aligned with. Because the only one that does not like praise is the enemy. Let me tell you why. You know why the devil don't like praise? Because every time we praise God, we remind him of the day that he got fired and we got hired. That's why you ought to give the devil PTSD. Give him a flashback. And praise is the weapon. When they got ready with the city of Jericho, when it came down, they put praise out front. And at the end of the journey, they shouted after they blew the horn and the wall. You know why? Because praise is a weapon. Gideon with just a jar and some lots, he won the battle with nothing but praise. Surrounded the enemy that was innumerable, shouted. The enemy panicked because praise confuses the enemy. See, you got to praise God in the midst of your trouble, because the enemy wants you crying instead of praising. I'm done, y'all. Brother Houston, I heard you, honey. Brother Houston, out.
You have been watching the 2019 Mid Atlantic Lectureship. Changes ahead, embracing change, taking the fear out of what comes next.
There's a seat for everyone on Blackwell's bench.
I'd like you to subscribe to some of my favorite YouTube channels. PKT Max, Humble is the Way, Minute Parables, and also the Church TV Network. All right, guys, talk to you. These are some other sister stations. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment on their videos.
Blackwell's bench.